Story.
We are live, okay? I got slowed down a little bit because of a Windows update, and that changed some of my setup. I had no audio for a little bit. So we're going to give everyone time to join us for a minute, and we're going to show a special little presentation that kind of goes along with our whole Revelation, the end times. But I'm Pastor Keo Cummings. I'm joined by Evangelist Hill, Elder Jethro. We say welcome, everyone.
Praise the Lord, everyone.
Welcome.
We're a little late, yeah, because I was fooling around trying to get this video. But I want to get little people on before I show the video. Was this Minister Tobin? God bless you. Evangelist Neil, Evangelist Ellis. Praise the Lord, everyone. People are probably waiting, where we at?
Right.
So now let me ask you guys while we're going through here, are we done with our big snowstorms? Are we in the clear? Spring's on the way?
Nope.
Sun, beach,
You don't
lake?
think so? I hope
No.
so.
It's coming at night. I mean, for goodness sake.
We won't be tanning by Lake Erie anytime soon?
Definitely not.
Okay.
No.
With or without the snow, no.
Right.
That was a lie. No, I was kidding.
But even though we did get a big snowstorm, early March, about 14 or so years ago, 13 years ago?
I mean, a few years ago, or not a few, but whenever it was, and when it was April. So,
Oh,
I
that's
mean,
true.
Praise
that
Lord
was
to the
less than 5
Thompsons.
years ago, maybe? I don't know.
But that is true. But we've been
May,
blessed
April,
so
yeah.
far. I mean, it's been a little
Absolutely.
rough couple days, but overall, it's been a pretty easy, winter for the
Yeah.
most part.
I mean, compared to what we could get in Northeast Ohio, to be honest.
Yeah.
True.
True.
Very true.
In the grand scheme of things.
All right.
And we're good.
I still don't like it. I don't care what you say. I don't know. Born and raised this area, but in the last few years, I promise you, I can't. It's ridiculous. And but I get why people say I'm going to Florida, not that I want to go to Florida because that's not my preference, but I can see why people say, I need to go somewhere hot and warmer. Yeah.
Did you say there were too many Republicans in Florida? What'd you say?
Are you putting words in my mouth? I mean,
Or was there too many Apple products in Florida?
I didn't say that either, but if you want to go there and open up the door to Apple products, maybe I ought to look up and see where are the Android people at and go where they are.
Were there Confederate flags in Florida? No, actually, I don't know. I don't know Florida's like that. I know Georgia, Mississippi, stuff like that. Now, I'm going to tell you, when I was at, I'll say no names. When I was at one TV station, they were working on our tower, and the company that was working on the satellite tower, they were from down south, and they decided to put a Confederate flag up on the tower. Yes.
Wow.
So we got calls like crazy. It's like, why is this flag up on your tower? What are you doing? So we called immediately what the station did, and they was like, hey, you got to pull that flag down.
They didn't even give this is what they do, though, in that
area. Like I said,
to them, it's not a big deal.
They put up a lot of towers and different things like that in the South. I mean, it's no problem. But when they came up north, people were like, hey, we don't know about that flag.
Wow.
What you doing?
They knew what they were doing anyway.
Yeah.
Who are they so we can ban them?
Praise and Sister Washington's on. Deacon Lane, God bless you. Praise the Lord. Brother Willie, God bless you. All right, we got enough on. I'm going to get started with the little video I want to show. So this is from 2019, I believe. And this was a PSA. And this is from Ron Reagan, not Ronald Reagan, who passed away, but he's a part of the Freedom from Religion Foundation, which is a nice way of saying, I don't believe in God. And I believe it's pretty known that he's an atheist. So just to give you a little heads up about that video. And let me get going.
Working to keep state and church separate. just like our founding fathers intended. Please support the Freedom from Religion Foundation. Ron Reagan, lifelong atheist, not afraid of burning in hell.
Now, that was quite a promo, because at the very end he says, not afraid of burning in hell.
Burning in hell.
I don't know. What do you think about that statement?
Bold. Very bold.
I'm sorry. I gotta
Wait,
put
what?
Sister Candy. Especially if you just joined us, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
wait, what happened here?
What is going on? I was gonna say, you need to put a disclaimer, like type, this is not the opinions of this those who are on this broadcast. Those. Let me
Do
do
not
my own
share these
disclaimer. That
views,
is
right?
Well, you know how they say these are not necessarily, you would just say
Really?
these
Right.
are definitely not
Not.
the views.
Right.
Oh. But I will say those are not
Wait,
necessarily
what?
the views of CNN, you know, who's in the video promo. But I'm trying to think too. Oh, I exit out so I wouldn't play something else by mistake. But I'll just say this. Anytime you want to tune into CNN, it's a good idea to do. They have valuable resources, and we were able to obtain that video through YouTube and somewhere through there, we'll say one way or another.
Wow.
But you know, as we're going over Revelation and we're reading some of these things and we're trying to figure out, you know, why aren't people repenting? Why aren't they sorry? But you know, we got some people, and we have to have that realization in our mind. Some people are fine. You know, I'm fine just like I am. I don't want God. I don't want religion, all those things. So, and he said, just as our founding fathers. Now, I don't know whose father that was, but he said, which father? Whose
Right,
father was
right.
that? You know, but I don't even know. Should we follow up anymore with that?
No more follow up.
I guess we just dropped the mic on that and said that's
We
it.
just dropped the mic.
Right.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if I put this up, but Evangelist Neil's right. That's easy to say when you haven't been burned or scorched. Yeah, that is easy to say. Oh man. But it's a bold
But
statement.
you know what? Yeah,
It's
it
a
is.
bold statement.
But
What do you
it's
think,
that-
Evangelist Hill?
It's the commitment to, and not that I agree. Again, let me put that out there. Not that I agree whatsoever.
Okay.
But I recognize and I can appreciate people's commitment to what they believe in. You know what I mean?
got you.
Like,
Okay.
So for me, it's like if that can happen and be just that strong, why do we waver sometimes? What, you know what I mean?
I
Like,
hear you. Right.
in that
Yeah.
commitment.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like that commitment. Like I can go with you. Like, wow.
Now you
really
say
trying to
he
commit?
committed to hell, huh?
Yeah, I mean, he committed. His choices is choices, you know. But how
Yeah.
committed can we be? You know.
Right. Right.
So that's what, and even comes out in the chapter too about the, you know, those are the faithful and standing strong. You know, so that's what kind of gets me. Not that I agree. Let me be clear.
Right. Yeah.
But that commitment is there,
Okay.
obviously. To death do you promise? Just kidding.
No, I got you. I understand exactly what you said. Okay.
Right,
But yeah, that was, I was talking to my mom and she said that to me, and I was like, okay, I got to get it on. I mean, whew.
Yeah, it's bold.
Yeah. Hey, but like you said too, not everyone wants what God offers.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
we gotta say that's okay. If you don't, you know, he's not
Yep.
going to force anyone to receive what he's freely given. You know, it's like begging someone to take, you know, a gift. If you don't want it, that's fine. Offer it, but if you don't want it, so all right,
Right.
we'll move on. So, okay, so we're coming to Revelation chapter 17. Now, we were talking about, as we're coming to the end, we got Lenten season coming up. And can we, just squeeze it all in, wrap it up, and say, okay, we're done? And we can't. So
we can't.
we're going to have to be a to be continued, get to the rest after our Lenten season. But for today, we're going to talk about Revelation chapter 17, which is going to take more of a look at Babylon as the religious power. In chapter 18, we'll get more into it as a political power. But in 17, we start to deal more with the religious takeover that takes place in the tribulation. So when we look at the beast and we look at the power, and we're going to start to see the political and religious power, those systems being taken over and ruling over the world, one system, one monetary government, one, political entity in control. So it's, it's kind of going to a oneness, one, but it's a counterfeit, the wrong type of oneness. So let's take a look at our scripture first, and then we'll dive into it. In Revelation 17, verse 1, and there came one of the seven angels, which had seven vials, and sometimes we say or bowls, and talked with me, saying unto me, come hither. I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the king of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with wine of her fornication. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and the abomination of the earth. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. And when I saw her, I wondered in great admiration. Now, just to clear up the last part quickly, the interpretation of using the word admiration was probably a better word would have been astonishment than admiration. He didn't admire her, but it's more astonishment.
Right.
But as we start to look at this, and we see, once again, this is John talking, and this is the 7 angels pouring out the vials, and this is bringing forth the wrath of God during the tribulation. And as we look here, the passage is filled with a lot of symbolism, but it goes on to detail to begin to tell us and open up what's going on. So when we look at this woman, this harlot woman sitting on 7 hills, it's pretty much generally known, like we have terms, the Big Apple, what's it? I'm trying to think of some other city nicknames. I don't know. What was Cleveland called? The Plum at one point.
It was.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the Golden Gate? What let me see. What is the Golden?
San Francisco.
Yes,
They call it the Golden City Center, or I don't know. They call it something.
Then you have the Mile High. Yeah.
Yeah.
Down
So
in Mile High City. Yeah.
when you look at Seven Hills, Rome was known for that. Rome is a place with seven hills, and we see a lot of the intricacies. And when we're looking at the end time in dealing with that, those stronghold of Rome, the powerful city, and all that taking place, but also what resides in Rome, even though it's separate, but it still resides in Rome, Vatican, the Vatican City.
Mhm.
So I throw that out there for now, but we'll see what you think. So we begin to look at this, and in verses 8 through 15, we touch on the beast. But before we get totally into the beast, let's look at Babylon. So Babylon is coming together. You had that 10-nation alliance, and Daniel calls the Antichrist the little horn. He refers to him as that. And we're starting to see this strength and this power coming through. And the Bible tells us that the whore is sitting upon this horse, and this horse, this scarlet, the scarlet horse that the horse sitting upon. And when we start to look at this, we're starting to see the powers coming forward. So I don't know. I'll open up to you two. You want to talk a little bit about Babylon? They're like, no, we good.
Well, you have Babylon.
The symbolism for sure. The symbolism behind it. Like you said, the kind of that place when you're looking at the religion and them coming together. It's like the forces that are, I would say, against Christ, the Antichrist. Spirit is just rising. I think to a point now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like gathering all forces possible to be able to come together, so-called, in order to defeat or come against Christ and his followers, So that symbolism there, so.
All right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yes. Well, I go back to the Nebuchadnezzar, and the three Hebrew boys in Babylon, and, how he took glory and delight that he was able to build this great kingdom, and the center of his worship was him. So, to me, Babylon kind of represents that system that defies God. Get to the point where if you refuse to worship Nebuchadnezzar, like the beast, he persecuted them. He threw them into the furnace, and that probably was not the first. They weren't the first group, weren't the last group, but he threw them in the furnace as a punishment for not bowing down. So Babylon, a lot of symbolism, but it just represents that system, a government, a religion that wants to squash out God, the recognition of God, and make themselves a center of worship, idolatry.
Right. And when we look at Babylon, we go back to the Tower of Babel, and we go to Nimrod.
Yep.
And then later, you got Nebuchadnezzar, and, it makes it a strong, powerful city. Now, we can even see the ties coming all the way up, because Babylon is going to be Iraq. And we can go to Saddam Hussein. And he was trying to rebuild his, I'm going to call it a castle, not a castle, whatever. Yeah, his palace. Yeah, that's the word. I'm like, castle.
Yeah.
But that was at the place of Babylon. And the nuclear weapon he was working on, he gave the name of, I'll say Nimrod's alleged son, Tammuz. And it seems like Saddam was into the history of what was going on in Babylon, and he's trying to rebuild this great fortress, this city, because the prophets tell us Babylon's going to rise again. It's going to be, rebuilt.
It's going to be great.
So, we'll see that. But what's interesting is that Isaiah prophesies like 150 years before about the fall of Babylon, and he even names the king and everything that's going to come and take it down and all that's happening. But when we look at Babylon and even that Tower of Babel, how it was this mindset of let's come together as one
Yep.
to go against God.
To go against,
So they were
right.
coming again. They were trying to build this great big tower. They were trying to celebrate themselves. They were trying not to face the destruction of the flood anymore. They were doing everything they could to be a religious system against God. And if we would if we go back to trace the occult religions, it goes back to Babylon. They were trying to worship the stars, the zodiacs, and all those types of things. And it all traced back to there. And when we look at this too, there's some stories about Nimrod's wife, Semiramis. Semiramis is his wife, and they have this whole story that came up along the lines of with Constantine of how, she as Nimrod dies, she later gives birth, and she says it's a miraculous birth, and that her husband has come back to be born again, and now his name is Tammuz. So I don't know, it gets real crazy. Some of it's mythology and some of it's biblical.
Yeah.
I mean, because we get Tammuz's name in Ezekiel, and he describes a vision he has saying that the Lord brought me to the entrance of the north gate and the house of the Lord, and I saw a woman there mourning the god of Tammuz. So we see they began to erect gods. We're going back to this false religion, this false god. And some people say that this rebirth of Nimrod in Tammuz happened December 25th. So then now they're saying this is when Constantine is pulling all this together, and it's messy.
Just confusion.
It's messy.
Confusion.
But Nimrod's his wife, because we're not gonna find I want to say it wrong. Semiramis. We're not going to find her in the Bible, but it has it that she's called the Queen of Heaven, and the Queen of Heaven is mentioned in the scripture in Jeremiah. So, this whole false religion, this with the story of Nimrod is that hey, you got this miraculous birth. This birth happens December 25th, so it's almost like that false Christ and so forth.
Yeah.
So, Babylon
is mimicking.
Yeah, it's always about being against God.
Right.
So now let's talk about the prostitute, the whore, the false. Well, I'll leave it there. I'll let you give some adjectives and some descriptions.
Right. The deceptor,
Revelation
deceiver.
Yeah. So let's talk about this woman that's riding upon the scarlet horse. So I'll introduce it like this: the woman that's riding upon the scarlet horse believes she is in control and that she's controlling the beast. So as she's controlling the beast, what do we think about her, or what do we find out about this woman?
Her influence,
Yes.
Her ability to influence and deceive on so many levels, in so many areas, so then it gives the impression or the thought that she's in total control, because of showing, making them believe in idolatry and her kindness and her wickedness, things like that. And And the fact of the matter was, she was, as we laughed and joked offline, the mother of the harlots. Like she
Right.
was top one. You know what I mean? Like she had this way, obviously, of not only influencing, but she was reproducing that. You know what I mean? Like she was bringing forth a lot of that. But that symbolism there is, again, with the idea of someone being a prostitute or whore, like they're not committed to one, not committed to, they're committed to a cause. That's, their
Right.
own cause, but not committed to one person or one thing. It's like, no, the infidelity is just a part of the spirit. It's just who they are, kind of deal, So yeah, so she's swaying a lot of people. I could just see her, come almost like mesmerizing people in a way. You know what I mean?
Right.
Right. Yeah, she does it in such a way that, I have written down, like she pollutes the nations, with her filth, with her abomination, so she's just that good at winning, at wooing over the people. And that's what it is when you think about a harlot or you think about a prostitute. How does she get her prey, as Proverbs would say, with smooth words, batting of the eyes and catching with the lips, the wink of her eye, and by her apparel and by her words that she just entices, and she's consistent with it. She doesn't stop at no. You have to, she doesn't stop at no. She continues to go on. She has that mission, what she wants in mind. And so this harlot, this mother harlot, this whore, the mother of all mothers, she's doing what she does as being a harlot, deceiving and getting those to go after her. And like you said, the mother, what does the mother do? Mother produces. And so she not only is, the mother, but she's also has offspring, and they kind of begin to have this family of idolatry, family of abominations, and it becomes to be accepted. And that's what makes it even more deadly, because now you have this group and it's growing and it appeals to everyone. So
it starts out young, you think about a mother who starts out small, to train and rear and guide and shape and mold from the very beginning, like early on, So getting a person in their vulnerable state or their most innocent state, the mindset where they don't know what's right, what's wrong, not sure, I need some guidance, so therefore let me gravitate to what seems to be like something that's loving me or something that's caring for me or something that's guiding me, when it's really guiding to destruction and guiding to wickedness and things. Again, that deception.
Right. So if we try to take this symbolism and bring it to a reality, so I'm not saying this is the case, I'm painting a picture.
Okay.
So this whore, she has scarlet. She has scarlet on. She has purple on. So scarlet represents the religiosity, the religious aspect of the whore. Purple represents the royalty. The waters are the influence over the people. So she has influence, she has power, she has royalty, she has money, she has fame, position, and she's doing it all with religion. Now, she has a headband on her forehead, and that headband is symbolic in John's times, because the women in the market who were harlots had headbands on with their names on it. So now this whore is a false religious system. So we're in the tribulation. So now this is why some people will say, well, the Antichrist is the Pope. But this isn't the Antichrist. This is the whore that's riding on top of the beast.
Right.
So we're going to see the religious system come in, and it's going to at first be in control over the Antichrist. It's going to be lifted up. It's going to have power. It's going to begin to reign. It's going to think it's in control. It's going to have wealth, money, power. So the saints are raptured away. Who's left? Those that don't believe in God. Those that are not, well, now I'm not saying all that, because there are those saved in tribulation, but we have a large number of people who will be left that are not a part of the religious community. So then you can still look at the Vatican in Rome as this large system that owns all this land, that has all this money, and that is in the position to be in religious control. Now, it could be something else. It could be something even greater than what we see in the Vatican. But we're just talking about, as people are raptured away, there's still systems and things in place.
Right, in place.
So,
yeah.
So we can see how this area can begin to draw people and say, you know, like, well, come to us. You know, we're going to help get you saved. We're going to make you safe in the tribulation. What they're going to call tribulation during these times. You know, and all that's taking place. So we can see this is a prime time, you know, when people are fearful, to come in and to offer them a type of hope. You know, when you look at cults and how they try to prey on people and separate people and propose fear and different things. So there's going to be this religious influence in the world. And as they have this control, it's going to be controlled because of their influence, because of their money, and because of their position. And they're going to be a strong power. And we've seen in the past, if you go back to the kings, you know, like looking at, you know, King Henry and this and that, they had to answer to the popes. They had to answer to religious system. There were certain things they could not do. No, you can't remarry. No, you can't do, you know, this or that, because that religious system had strength and power until, you know, the breakaway.
Right. Yeah.
But we're going back to that. And that's why we see the whore on the horse, riding the horse, driving the horse, in control, until we get to the end of the chapter.
And when she's not in control.
Right.
She's not in control.
And they destroy her.
Right.
So, well, let me throw this up real quick, and then we're going to get ready to wrap up. In Revelation chapter 17, verse 10 through 14, and there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. And the beast, excuse me, and the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7, and goeth into perdition. So we're going to start to see that these kings come together. They're in belief that they're in power, and they're going to have power for, well, in verse 12, and the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdoms yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. So the beast is going to have people in position. They're going to get power for a moment, and then they're going to turn it all over to him. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. For he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. And later it goes on and it mentions how the kings turn upon the woman and they destroy her. So basically what's going to happen is, well, I'll let you guys jump in before I say everything. So we're looking here at those nations. We're looking here at the whore and her short reign.
Mm-hmm. And there's a verse in there where he says that God actually instituted this. And so he was still in the middle. He's still in the middle. He put it upon their hearts, put it upon their minds to turn against the harlot. So they were, it's a setup from the beginning. She thought she was in control, her posse. They turned on them, almost like a good movie, right? They, you know, you have the bank robbers that rob a bank, and what's bound to happen? They're going to turn on each other. Someone's going to squeal, someone's going to talk. But, you know, they turned over, the harlot goes down, and Satan is destroyed himself, right? Even though he does overthrow her,
right?
He himself does end up being destroyed and cast into the pit.
Mm-hmm. So the 10 horns, they're going to end up hating the prostitute.
Along with the beast, yes.
We you know, we in cahoots, we're together, and then all of a sudden I can't stand you.
Can't stand, yeah, resenting.
Jealousy.
And they hate her. They're going to hate the religious system and destroy it so that they can rule and not have to worry anything about this religious power and so forth. So, you know, we're coming to that end where we're starting to see the destruction of everything that the beast is building. So the beast is trying to build up, the Antichrist is trying to build up and establish this system. He's going to try to establish political system. He's going to try to establish the religious system, and then it's going to all start to get destroyed, you know? So we're coming to the end, and we're going to see that they try to triumph over the Lamb, but they can't do it.
Can't do it.
And I still love the terminology, the Lamb.
Right. Right.
You know, we don't see that. The fighting lambs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No. Right. Right.
Yeah.
We see, you know, pork chops, lack of lamb, rack of lamb and stuff like that. But yeah, we don't see the fighting lambs.
No, you don't see a lamb being a mascot. You don't hear a football team or a hockey team or a soccer team name the lambs. No, you don't get that.
They're not looked at as a warrior, as a fighter, as strong, as, you know, a defender. Looked at as weak, as one who sacrificed, one that can be taken advantage of, one that can be influenced and overridden, you know? So yeah, this is that falsehood in thinking that, oh, we got them, you know?
And that's what I think. It's the look of, you know, here's the one that sacrificed. Here's the one that, you know, has the scars. Here's the one that was on the cross weak. But let's not forget the resurrection.
That's right.
Showing that strength and that power. And we hear the beast and the dragon and all these things. And here's the Lamb with the battle scars that shows you still can't get me. I'm victorious. They coming for the fight. They think, you know, we're going to get them. We're going to be able to win. We're going to gather together to destroy the Lamb. Let's have a war. But the Lord of Lords, the King of Kings, will not be defeated.
Triumphs once again.
I would say seeing him as the Lamb should bring forth fear. Because it's like we couldn't get him the first time. How are we going to get him now? Right. You know, we couldn't win. We thought we won, but we didn't do it. So John still gives us that symbolism, and it's the reminder too that this is still Jesus fulfilling the mission.
Right.
I'm coming to set up my kingdom.
Just like I said I was.
Yep.
And I died on the cross, not because you took my life, but because I laid it down.
Laid it down. That's it.
See, that's the thing. They didn't get him. He laid down.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. and
I
he took it
laid
up.
down
Had
my life.
control. The control. Still had the control. Still had the power. Still had the, the ability to be able to do that.
Right.
Despite what they were trying. Despite what they thought.
All right.
Maybe they thought the
So
second time around it might be better. I don't know. Maybe they thought the second time they I don't know.
Yeah.
no, I think it's still delusional. That self-pride thinking, or that arrogance thinking that we're gonna outsmart God,
Right.
Right.
outwit him, and it's not happening.
Not happening.
He's already got it all planned out. He's already ahead of it.
It's done.
Yeah.
And they still could have been looking too at the numbers and the small, the remnant, the remnant of those that were still standing and still fighting and still, that were coming through that time, in that experience. They thought, oh, we got them. It's not as many as us, perhaps. You know what I mean? Again, that false of like numbers and that illusion, like, oh, we're going to overtake because we're way more influential. We have more power. We have more this or that. Well,
here's the thing.
He always works in the remnant. He always works in
I would say this too. Remember that they were drunk off of the blood of the martyrs. So here's that false sense of thinking we're winning this battle.
Exactly.
But you're not winning this because these martyrs are going off to heaven. They're going off to a reward.
Right. Right.
Yeah. I hear you. So there's some false.
Been called.
Yeah.
They've been faithful.
Yes, that's true. Ooh, preach it. Chosen, called, and faithful.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
That's what he called them. Yeah.
So we're gonna see at the end time, though, we still see there are those that are being saved, those that are being victorious in these hard times, but the beast and the whore and everyone is going to face their judgment from God. Because remember before we talked about how his wrath was full.
Right.
He got to the place, because the Lord has been patient.
Yep.
But then now we're coming to the time where he's sending out his wrath because his patience is done. The time is over. The Lord had waited, but the time is over. Now send the angels, send the vials, pour out the wrath. So the ones that hold back until we mark those. Okay, now go release.
Come on.
So
the appointed time has come.
Yeah, we're at that time.
That's it.
So we're seeing the destruction of the religious the religious side of Babylon, and then next we're going to get to the political side. We're going to get to the reign of the Lord, and we're going to get to the end time, the eternal reward or eternal damnation. So it's all lining up, but we're going to have to take that break, hit Lenten season, and come back and wrap it up. We'll wrap it all up. Put a bow on it.
Put a bow.
Get wrapping with a bow on it.
Yeah, we're going to have to
put a bow on it. Yes.
All right. God bless you all. We're glad to have you all today. We pray that the Lord will bless you. Let's continue to pray for one another. We have some different people I'm getting word from, just getting sick, under the weather changing, 50 degrees, 20 degrees, whatever, going back and forth, it catches up to you. So let's check on one another, pray for one another, make it a beautiful, wonderful week. And we love you.
Amen. God bless you.